For those of you guys that are wondering, it is possible to have interviews while you have an open case. Hence how CNN, Dateline, 2020, the Rolling Stones, and everybody else has done this.
So I knew who he was. I just wasn't aware of, all the dark side that we've seen. You know what I'm saying? At some point, he may have deemed me to be a trustworthy person. I'm fighting for my fucking life. Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? Yo, he's a monster for us. When he get back to the house, I can try to go in the gate and security would tell me like, yo, he said nobody's coming in the house. And one time I thought it was personal. I'm like, yo, I'm living here. It's such and such, you know what I mean? And then I saw one of his sons come and they couldn't get in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
wait, one of his sons couldn't even get in? When he
couldn't even get in. He locks that house, ain't nobody getting in there. Almost slapped one of the camera guys. You know what I'm saying? In fact, one I know that, but my physical eyes, I seen him like almost smacked him for not having that camera on. And
where are we, Rod? Do you like to be called Little Rod or Rodney? How are you doing? And thank you for joining us.
Hey, Tisa, I'm doing okay. How are you? You could just call me Rod. That's good enough for me.
Okay, you like my mama call me Little Rod. You call me Mister. Okay, Rod.
You know what's crazy is I never really called myself that. Like just growing up, they just named me that. You know what I'm saying? Just being the 5-year-old in church playing drums, whatever. Just like this, it was just a little guy. So they just called me that. It was little, and then they just, as time go by, they just start going LIL. So I just go by what the people call me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That is so true. It is a common Black American experience, baby. They gonna call you everything but your name if you really type with someone. Everything but your name. So thank you for coming. So listen, Little Rod, here, and this is to the audience. I want to jump right into the meat of things. Then we'll take a step back. Then we'll fast forward. We have so much to cover, and we have you for a limited time. So let's jump in, and then we can take a snapshot back. Okay. I do want to focus on how you got into music, but we'll get into that later. Let's take it straight to where this all started, okay? Mm-hmm. Your lawsuit claims that you, of course, are a producer and that you somehow found yourself in a role of following Diddy around and recording him. And it wasn't just you. Diddy liked and we've heard from multiple places that Diddy actually liked to chronicle every part of his life. Can you tell us how you fell into the role of always being around Diddy and being able to document what was going on in a working capacity?
Yeah, I mean, I just became a lot relevant to his production, just being able to pretty much do almost everything, you know what I mean, in the production, whether it's playing an instrument, being able to train engineers, producing, songwriting, you know what I'm saying, singing, and just overall just being a person who knows how to handle administrating situations or whatever it is. It's like, you know what I mean? Somebody can set out a task and I won't stop until it's done. You know what I mean? And just having those abilities and more, just made me one of the guys just like really important to an asset to the team.
Did you just randomly whip it out? Did he ask you to film? Did people around him ask to film? Like, how does that happen? Because someone's around me with the phone.
Yeah, so, just being in the studio and sometimes he might get to talking and he looked up one time like, yo, what I just said could have been a part of the album. You know what I'm saying? Like, pull out that phone, you around me, make sure them cameras is rolling, make sure the audio, make sure y'all taking notes. I don't like to repeat myself, and he just, elaborated more and more about that. So it's like, I made it easier for him. I caught everything for him. And sometimes, he would just get my phone and start recording and in situations. If my phone's just laying there and I'm over there doing something else, whatever. So
he would grab your phone if you weren't around and start recording himself to actually catch everything.
Yeah.
Did he ever tell you what he wanted? I know you mentioned he's like, get this, I don't want to forget. Did he ever actually hint that he wanted this for, like, some people are like, I know Beyonce, she has like her little, well, it's rumored that she has her footage of archives because she's Beyonce. And one day, it's all going to go into the historical record. Did he ever hint what he was using it for outside of things for work?
Nah, not that I can recall. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot happening fast over there. Just all I know is, record. Like,
okay,
don't be that. I've seen him, like, almost slap one of the camera guys. You know what I'm saying? In fact, one I know that, but my physical eyes, I seen him like almost smack him for not having that camera on. And I'm not the one to be smacked, so I'm gonna make sure I do my work correctly. So I you know what I'm saying? So I don't fall in that category. You know what I'm saying? And so, I know how to do whatever I'm asked to do very, very well.
Well, it seems like you did it really well. I want to just touch on something that you said. You said that you witnessed, or like a past recollection, in your opinion, it looked like somebody was close to getting hands laid on them. What was that situation like? Like, where were y'all at?
In my opinion, I mean, we were at a studio, but in my opinion, this guy was getting ready to get smacked. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when somebody goes and waves their hand in front of you, and then all of a sudden just pull it back like I ain't gonna do it today, in my opinion, that's about to get smacked. So, yeah.
How many people were around when this was happening? Was it like a full crew, or was it something very private?
Yeah, it was like maybe 3 more other producers in the studio, a couple assistants, and engineer, and maybe an artist or 2.
Did anyone seem surprised, or were they just all, because if that happened in front of me, y'all already know I'm scary. I would have had my head down, like I'm just mixing sound. Did people act like they were surprised, or did everybody just have their eyes down, hoping that it would just blow over?
I couldn't really read into anybody's, else expressions. This is early on for me. So it's like, I'm probably in like disbelief that was happening, or you know what I'm saying, or he has that side of him. It's just so much is like going on. I can't even focus on what somebody else is thinking. It's like, yo, all right, let's get back, make sure I don't hit this note wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you got no time to figure it out what's going, get into what you got going on. And that's always been the case for me. I see stuff, and sometimes I may, act as if I don't see it, but I'll see it and then just like, it just motivate me to, stay on what you got going on and get it done correctly. That way you don't be in that hot seat like others. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. And I know that you come from a very Christian household. You are a man of God. So I can see that's something that you're taught very young, right? We all were. If you're in the church, you stay on your path. You don't look left or right. You don't get distracted. And like, God will order your steps. Just stay on your path. I can definitely see that. You said that it happened early on. Why don't you tell us in your own words, how long? Because I find it interesting. How long were you actually around Diddy or working with Diddy, from start until you cut ties? And we'll talk about that. But from start to finish, how many months or even years do you think you were around Diddy?
Definitely in 2022 for sure. And we cut ties at the end of 2023.
See, I find this most interesting because here's the thing. If you go to Lipstick Alley, if you go to the blog, shout out to Diary of Hollywood Street King and that grape juice or that grape drink, they're like archive blogs now. But they have stories in Diddy going back to 2008. What really fascinated us about your case, aside from you being courageous, just like Cassie and everybody else that's taking a stand, is the fact that your cases, you and Cassie's case, are the most current record of the stuff that he's doing. So a lot of people like to say, oh, well, it happened years and years ago. But basically between what Cassie has to say, and I think she cut off around 2015, 2016, and combined with what you have to say in 2023, you are, in my opinion, the clearest record of whether he grew, whether he changed, whether he evolved, whether he might have been involved in stuff back in the day, and whether he turned over a new leaf. You know what I'm saying? So I find that like the most interesting. And that's why I'm watching your case so closely, because at the end of the day, he's fighting with that. So let me get back into the studio. So it was early on when it seemed like there was about to be some fisticuffs in the studio. How early on into that would you say it was?
It was around like, I don't know, September of 2022, somewhere around there. So
like a couple of months, would you say?
You know what, to be exact, that happened at Challenge.
Go on.
It happened. It was at Challenge, so it's like it was somewhere around the third or fourth week. Oh
wow, September. That's really early. Yeah. So it was. So this goes into my question. So you're following him around. He's demanding everybody take me, do this and that. Sometimes you remember or recall him grabbing the phone to be like, yo, let me record myself. So it's not like you were sitting there in the corner like, huh? What? It's not like you were sitting in the corner trying to, do the little okie doke. This was part of your job. And you said, I'm going to do this job because Diddy was very well respected and you were going to get your chance.
You gotta also understand that he's only saying that to people, for example, like who he may deem to be trustworthy, or you know what I'm saying. Other people can't even have their phones. There was times we were in the studio. He'd tell everybody, put your phones down, and whatever. But I'll still be going because he knows like he's taking notes or he's recording or whatever. I'm just basically trying to capture whatever's necessary so that we don't miss. Not to keep a dialogue of what's going on, like not even thinking of that. You know what I'm saying? Just like, all right, here's the notes. Today we're working on this, and sometimes he may say some things, and somebody like him would find it very, very disrespectful. For example, if he say a sentence or a paragraph and then you ask him to repeat himself. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't take that nice. So it's like, yo, hurry up and catch this as fast as you can. And it's like working with him is like, bam, he's throwing a bunch of cannons. Your job is to catch it before it falls and just, you know what I mean? So at some point, he may have deemed me to be a trustworthy person close, that's actually working. And, I'm in the studio. I'm not really engaging in a bunch of BS. You know what I mean? Most of the time people are trying to, come on, you could take one more shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, they know that. It's like, yo, it could be all types of liquor, alcohol, drugs, women, and all types of activities. Even before, even before him, just happening in the studio, and I'll be just very, very focused on what we got to get done. And so, one thing is he has an eye. He can see, like, okay, that person look a little fishy, or even this person looks a little green. You know what I'm saying? He can decipher those differences. So, so at that rate, for somebody like myself to be capturing certain things, or recording certain things, the trust was there.
Yeah, it sounds like he trusted, like you said, and have heard this about Diddy before. And I mean, it's no surprise because he is a mogul, but I have heard that most people that are astute businessmen are very, very good at reading people. And I think it speaks to your testament that you came in with very, very good intentions. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do it well. And I'm going to, blow his mind away. And he's going to be so impressed. And this is going to be the end. I know we had Tiffany Red on this channel, an exclusive Tease to Tell Live. Go ahead and check it out. Also, Tiffany Red has her own YouTube channel. Check that out. Where she said that working with Diddy, especially on the Love album, everybody thought it was going to be his big comeback. You need somebody big to get you into those doors. No matter how talented you are, how many connections you are, you need someone big to get you into those doors. So did you view Diddy as like, this is my chance to really get into those rooms?
Yeah. So, at this point, I've been in some rooms. It was just now we're just trying to crack, to the super producer seat or just, you know what I mean? Building up my executive this or this. I got some artists who were signed to me from Chicago trying to get their albums in the door. It's like, okay, the best way to do it is to go over here, finish this album, and do a great job, and then this will open up doors for those things I just mentioned, along with others. You know what I'm saying? So, prior to Diddy, yes, most major producers know who I am. Most musicians, etc., a lot of artists, but we were just trying to cross over to a bigger audience, which working on this album should have and would have brought. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
definitely.
That was the goal.
That was the goal. Before you actually linked up with Diddy, why don't you tell us a little bit about how, and again, how did he even find you? Did you seek him out? Or you I'm not a producer, so I don't know how it goes, but
No.
how did he find you?
Well, like I said, a lot of producers and musicians and artists, they know about me. It's not that many, good producers who's roaming around LA that play multiple instruments. A lot of them are just sampling different things and putting stuff together. So, one of my partners at the time, just told me like, yo, we got. He's friends with the head A&R of Love Records. Like, yo, we got a studio session for Puff coming up. Here's the dates. They're gonna give us our own room, etc. We feel like a glove because while he can play the keyboard a little bit, he's not as fluent, and he doesn't play bass, or he doesn't play drums or guitar.
Your friend or Diddy?
My friend.
Oh, okay. Go on.
Yeah. So to have me with him, together, we should be able to accomplish a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, that's how I came into the picture. Even though, I've, did some work in 2021 before that wasn't really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Worth really mentioning, or 2016, I was present for the Bad Boys tour, doing rehearsals and stuff like that. But more or so, 2022 is what made me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like really exist. So at that rate, the writing camp was full of just a bunch of star power, whether it's artists or super producers, etc. Again, it's not too many producers I've seen in and outside of those rooms that are playing as many instruments and that can work in as many DAWs as I do: FL Studio, Logic, Pro Tools, and even Ableton. I work them all. I understand them all. You know what I'm saying? I also grew up recording to tape. That was before we had all these crazy things. So I understand the music on different levels. I understand how we doing it now, how he was doing it 20 and 30 years ago. So it just, that came with a lot of experience that was necessary, in being a part of this. And on top of that, just having leadership skills, you know what I'm saying? I've been a music director for years, etc., like that. So he really likes to have people who are leaders and know how to get things done. That's what made me more necessary to the team.
Okay, so this is all clicking together. So again, Diddy is, in my opinion, from what I've heard from people, he is very talented at extraction capitalism, identifying people that are super talented, above the cut, and then he tries to extract as much as he can from them while giving the least turnout. Because I know you came up in the church and you were basically a child musical prodigy. I do want to know, coming from like a church background, but you were so talented that even contemporary artists started pulling you in. Had you heard about any of those Lipstick Alley blog posts or anything about Diddy? Or did you just know that Diddy is like this super producer, musical ear, like a Renaissance man?
Well, I'll tell you, for as long as he's been doing it, he's been a great marketer. Even now, he's still a great marketer. So for someone who has come from the Christian world, you have to be that much good or great in order to even reach over there so they can see. I just remember like one time going to church. It was in the 90s, late 90s or somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
I was young. And what's this song? Every step I take.
Oh yeah, the Missing You. Yeah.
I remember on a Sunday morning sitting in the back seat, just going to church. That song was on the radio. You know what I'm saying? Or watching movies. What's All About Your Benjamins? What y'all want to do? Want to be bought? You know what I'm saying? That comes on. It's like, yo, because he's crossed over, you cannot even be a person who like to go to the clubs or whatever it is, and you know who he is. So I knew who he was. I just wasn't aware of, all the dark side that we've seen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, however, I did hear about the East Coast, West Coast beef, but that was as far as Tupac and Biggie. Other than that, I'm learning more as I work in the music industry. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And then, he has a way of just doing certain stuff, and you can feel like he's not a bad guy, but then tomorrow, and this is in my opinion, tomorrow he can wake up and do some things like, yo, this guy you don't want to play with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's in my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't really want to lean too much on that, but yeah. So we all know he sells records. There's still some countries that are playing his records now, even though, you know what I'm saying, he's in a legal situation. There's still people playing.
It's fine. We know you're in an undisclosed location. We'll take you how we can get you, but go on.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say towards that answer. Yeah.
Okay, so definitely. So we're in the studio, and you guys, listen, just to let the chat know, welcome to everybody. If you guys can hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're having a surprise guest further into this live. For those of you guys that are wondering, it is possible to have interviews while you have an open case. Hence how CNN, Dateline, 2020, the Rolling Stones, and everybody else has done this. I don't have time to explain. Go watch CSI and figure it out, okay? So right now, and if you guys are watching us on playback and you have to go, we will be chopping this interview up into digestible segments, and we'll be putting timestamps in it, okay? So let's get into this, right? Because we're there, we have your background, you are trustworthy, you are reliable, you're ready to go the extra mile. You see a little inkling where you said 3 or 4 weeks into it, he looked like he was about to, in your opinion, some fisticuffs was about to break out. You're following him around, recording everything at his request. What do you recall was the first time that you started to be like, something ain't right? This ain't no regular superstar. You a little eccentric. Like, I don't know what's going on. What do you recall around what time? Like, not even what time, but what that felt like or what you experienced?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone because, I can't really get into that for my case purposes. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely in the complaint. It's definitely in the complaint. But yeah, that's a juicy question.
Okay. Let's talk about, if you want to talk about the complaint, let's go back to the studio then, right? Because there's a few things that we need to add color onto the complaint. You were working on the Cassie album, and in our live we did with Tiffany Red, she pointed out how weird it was that for the people that kind of knew the Diddy and Cassie situation, the Love album seemed to be an exercise in almost being intrusive into Cassie's life, writing a love letter to Cassie, doing this and that. We know that he even wrote love letters, songs that were dedicated in love to Kim Porter. What was the feeling in the studio? Did he seem like he was a man obsessed with Cassie, or a man obsessed with letting the world knows he had undying love for Kim Porter?
In my opinion, it was nothing but control, another way to manipulate her. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel everything. You know what I mean? I can feel true emotions. I can feel when someone is mourning over someone and not. I definitely did not feel, in my opinion, I did not feel the mourn over Kim Porter. I didn't feel that. More so, it was maybe a little guilt. And you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. And I'm not at liberty to elaborate more on that.
Okay.
Definitely my opinion with Cassie, the song is called Homecoming. The way he broke this down every time and, was trying to explain his feelings, it changed every time. Every time. So imagine we're working on this song. Let's just say we put in 30 days worth of work on this song, hour for hour, right? His story changed 30 times.
What do you
know
mean?
What I'm saying?
Give us an example of what that would look like. Now, we don't got to hypotheticals. We're talking about an imaginary person. What?
Hypothetically, I like this object for this reason, but then tomorrow I like this object is for a whole nother reason, and the next day is different. And you're trying to combine the two. Is like what you can't like this object for this reason. You know what I'm saying? And I might be giving a bad analogy. But basically, for example, like I might say, I married my girlfriend, my wife, because she gave me her last piece of cake, and then 10 years from now, I say I married my wife because she took care of me when I was down and out. You know what I'm saying? Like it just keeps changing and changing and changing and changes. Like, and none of the reasons felt like I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? None of the reasons felt like a man who just want his woman back, and I'm trying to sing this song, but more so, that's my property. It belongs to me. Like, you should be here. You know what I'm saying? And so, let me go ahead and make an album and have somebody to write some words. It's a little different when a person is writing. For example, like, yo, I got music that I've been working on, and I haven't been able to call anybody. And I just looked at the signs like, you know what the truth is? I may not need nobody to write this. I might need to tell my story from my heart. None of his verses or anything lyrically came from his heart, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And so, in my opinion, I just feel like it was nothing but manipulation. You know what I'm saying? Trying to manipulate, getting her back into this world. And, you know, based off the video we seen, that's not in my opinion, that's not the best world you want to be in.
I definitely get that. I will be the first to say, I remember when he did the I'm Missing You song for Kim Porter. And I do remember that I was just rolling my eyes because I said, if you love this woman so much, you would have married her, got engaged to her, did something, because she was slavishly devoted to him. So definitely that's interesting you say that it felt like all the love songs, in your opinion, that he was doing, he was coming back trying to see what would hit, and it wasn't organic. It looked like he was just looking for an in and out, or to just try to get her back because she was property. What about his kids? Like, I know that Christian, from what I hear, was in the studio. Tell me if I'm wrong or not. Because what about did you see Diddy in relation to like his family and whatnot? And what about that carefully crafted image of him as a father? Was he a loving, doting father, or was it just, what was your opinion of that?
I'd rather leave at least the minors out of this. You know what I'm saying? That's a very, very touchy, you know what I'm saying? And for, even for the sake of them, like, my friendship with them was pure, and you know, I don't want to really get into that. You know what I'm saying? I really want to get into that. It's
Okay.
touchy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can definitely respect that.
Yeah.
You mentioned about one thing I want to talk to you about is the way things have the aftermath after this lawsuit. But before we go on that, because I just want everybody to see that clear divide, right? Diddy to some has a persona of what some people might describe as monster-like things after we saw that video with Cassie, versus his nice guy public persona. Like you said, out of respect for the children, you'll leave that alone, right? But do you feel like, even though that Diddy seemed to put his trust in you early on, do you think that Diddy, when you were just observing him, did he always show who he was? Meaning, could he go from 0 to 100 at the drop of a hat? It don't matter whether you were like the coat check girl or whether you were a sound engineer, or did he wait until people got closer to him and kind of hide the way he was? You feel what I'm saying? What was your impression?
In my opinion, I'm gonna just be honest. In my opinion, he's somewhere right now going from 0 to 100. Yeah. This is, here's the thing. He builds so many like chains around him, or levels around him. It's even hard to get in front of him to see that side. So, for example, here's a reason why a lot of guests who are not a part of the production can't be in a room with him when he's there. It's like, I can have the studio scheduled in a different room that has nothing to do with us today, with some artist in here, and we could be working, but if he decides that he needs to work, we got to clear this out, because he's got to be himself at all times. And he's very, very cautious about, you know, what he does around people, especially when they're not on his team and not on NDAs, etc. So it's extremely hard to catch this side of him unless you're on his team. You know what I'm saying? Or his family member, or somebody he's really dating, or his friends, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, when he come outside, put that suit on, and he's in front of the cameras, it's more than not likely that you're going to see that side. And if it's a situation that, you know, he felt like he might want to step out and show somebody what it is. Oh, listen, when we all get back as a meeting, is we all about to catch it. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody
Oh,
should have
wow.
intercepted that, or this is supposed to be perfect, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you one thing. There was times we were staying at his house. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
flew me out from home to Miami, and we're there. And let's just say he go do a walkthrough at one of the major clubs, and something could happen. We don't even know. By the time he takes off before us, and he get back to the house, I can try to go in the gate, and security would tell me like, "Yo," he said, "nobody's coming in the house." And one time I thought it was personal. I'm like, "Yo, I'm living here. It's such and such." You know what I mean? And then I saw one of his sons come, and they couldn't get in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Wait, one of his sons couldn't even get in
the
when he
kids
like.
couldn't even get in. He locks that house. Ain't nobody getting in there but him, and security's watching the gate. Maybe management can come in to do whatever's necessary he has to get done. He locked that house. It's over. You know what I'm saying? It's on a D&D. And
Even go on. I'm sorry. Keep on.
yeah, so you know what I mean? And you know, it could have been one of the sons, or one of or myself, or somebody else could have just waved, you know, in my opinion, at some girl he was liking, or somebody could have spilled a drink, in my opinion. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? Only he would know.
So let me get this straight, because you said a lot, and I would just want to break this down. Diddy would sometimes go into these things where when he got into his moods, nobody really knew what was happening, but he would get home and lock everyone out, and everyone, whether they were blood related or not, would be standing outside. How
That's
long would
it.
these go on? How long would
Yeah.
it? How long would this last? Like on a regular lockout
You know,
night, would
I'm
it be like
sure
10 minutes?
once the daylight come up and everything, you know, things get back to normal. I mean, you might not be able
Daylight.
to come in there, yeah, you know, once you go to sleep or whatever's going on. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you know, the next day you can resume. But I just remember, you know, a couple of times I had to just go buy me a hotel in the city that he flew me in, stay in his guest house. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And
wow.
it wasn't just me. So it's, again, I didn't really take it personal anymore at that race. Like, okay, he ain't fooling with nobody today. So y'all just got to figure it out. And you know, I just start, you know, handling things a little different, expecting certain things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Of course. Of course. Let me ask you a question. You made a comment that like it could be anything, like somebody spilling a drink, or, you know, one of the girls he likes maybe waving at one of his sons. That he does have
Yeah,
very handsome
you
sons.
don't
Go
spill
on.
you don't spill no drink on Diddy, and you don't mess with his girls. You know what I'm saying? These are
No,
just
I
a few
don't.
things.
Explain.
He doesn't even like for example, like food in the studio. He doesn't even like that. So if I order some food, I need to eat it outside and don't get caught eating. You know what I'm
What?
saying? Yeah, it's really that strict. It's like, yo, but he'll come right in the middle of just, you know, your session, and stoop down, and sit and chill. Let me hear this and this, and then those assistants come rolling in with all types of fruit or whatever, food, steak, whatever, and he gonna eat that right then and there, and it is what it is. But you could be sitting there all day and haven't eaten. You better find a way to do it where he don't know you eating.
Pause, because you're dropping a lot, right? Really quick, you guys, for those of you just joining us, this is Lil Rod. He is Diddy's first male accuser. He's making shocking claims, much in the line of Cassie. Lil Rod is the only person suing Diddy at the present moment. There might be more. Well, I've heard there are more. That he has the most recent recollection of who Diddy is, how it came to be, and we are getting into the lawsuit. He is also in an undisclosed location. We'll get into that. So again, there's storms going on. cell phone, Wi-Fi and whatnot, but we are still grateful. So if you see the screen freezing, just know we are grateful that he is even taking the time to do this. And very, very grateful. So let me get this straight, because again, I have heard through talking to different people that Diddy liked to play a lot of mind games, right? I have heard that Diddy did like to play psychological games. To me, that sounds very Silence of the Lambs. So you guys are in the studio all day. You guys don't really get breaks like that. We all know what studio time looks like. You would have to, not only could you not eat in the studio, okay, fair enough, but you would have to hide even eating anywhere. He didn't want to see anybody eat. But yet when he would come to check on you guys, he would sit down and be like, let me hear it, and be having exotic fruit, steak, lobster, whatever, and be sitting there eating in your face while you guys are showing them what you do. Is that kind of like what was going on?
Absolutely. And not to mention, don't ever get caught taking a nap in the studio. Add that too. You know what I mean?
And it's common to take naps in studios, correct?
I'm sorry?
It's common to take naps in studios because you guys are basically living there.
Basic studio etiquettes would be, you can take a nap, but like find it around the couch where you're not taking the energy. He wouldn't want to know that nobody's in that room taking a nap. Watch this. This the part of like this the part of like gets me. It's like, yo, there were days it would tell the chef like don't cook for them. You know what I'm saying? Or we can't drink the Fiji water, right? But the liquor is flowing everywhere. It's all in this. You can't eat, but you could drink. You know what I'm saying? You could. You feel me? You can partake. You can smoke the hookahs. You can smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? But no food. I just never understood that. You know what I'm saying? And food is, for me, a person like me, when I'm fed, I work better. I think better. You know what I'm saying? And so there was too many times of just being in these sessions where it's a lot going on. It's like I'm just trying to get it together and stay focused because I've had this much to eat and this much water, or you know what I'm saying, or whatever it is. It's like
you want so even water, the liquor was flowing, but even food and water was like, yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
listen, when I asked you what was your first inclination, this mofo was crazy. Tattletales, y'all know me. I dream about ice cream all day. That would have been my first thing where it's like, this mofo is Silence of the Lambs. That would have scared me. I'm greedy. I like to eat. And like you, when I can't eat, I can't focus. And even when I can focus, I'm still dreaming about food.
Yeah,
you know?
But look at it like this. Look at it like you on a road, let's just say from California to Atlanta, and you're driving this by yourself and you run into bad weather. You know what I mean? You pretty much got to you halfway there. You know what I mean? It's the same distance to go back and the same distance to go forward. And so you might as well find a way to find the strength to keep moving forward so you can get whatever that is that you sought out to get done.
Yeah.
And multiple, that's just been the ride. It's like, look, this album is almost done. This album stayed in almost done for almost a year. You know what I'm saying? We was in that fourth quarter, just like, yo, the first 3 weeks we thought it was done. And it's like, every time you thought you went forward, you take 3 steps back, or, you know what I'm saying? Or just a lot of hiccups. And then there was just times we was just sitting there like a week or two went past and we really ain't did nothing. We just over there in work position. You know what I'm saying? As slaves. And we over there playing loud music and messing around with this, messing around with this, messing around with that. You know what I'm saying? And he's giving us tasks that ain't even got nothing to do with the album. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is over there, fortunately. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were the kids not eating? Did you see Young Miami eat? Did you see Daphne eat?
Listen, that pan is rolling in front of them faithfully. Yeah, eat. They gonna eat.
Okay.
That's for sure. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into anything negative about the kids, but for sure, they're eating. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Miami? Was she fed? Did she get food?
Oh, she can have whatever she want. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Mm.
told she was getting um a nice 6-figure check a month. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
And so
wow.
yeah, but we don't. I don't want to stir nothing else back up. You know what I'm saying? But
Okay,
yeah,
that's respectful. Let me ask you this then. Because Miami did an interview where she said they were very much in love and she could sit in her femininity. And listen, I think Miami's beautiful, very talented. I wish her podcast a lot of luck. I mean, she don't need it. She already doing bigger numbers than me. So I wish her continued success. But let me ask you this. Because when you guys were making the Love album, you were in the studio all the time and Diddy was in the studio all the time. Do you recall seeing Young Miami around a lot?
yeah. We were mainly seeing. I mean, I've seen her in different states and out the country as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I would mainly see her in Miami.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And she'd be there. I always felt something a little odd or weird about them. It's like they was just trying to force it. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, in my opinion, I just feel like a lot of that was for the public. You know what I'm saying? He has his ways of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But even like you mentioned earlier today, the Kim Porter and the Cassie
Cassie.
song. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think he called it an album, but it's a song that he wrote out to her. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he had us to write out to her, and I just remember my first time seeing her when these songs were played, and he just talking about his whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
like for me, it's just all right. Now let that have been any other woman, any other average man. You know what I'm saying? Hearing that him crying over one woman that had moved on and the other one that is deceased. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, that's an interesting point. So she was around while he was doing this?
yeah, and they planned it, and I'm just watching her. It's like, yo, she had a lot to say in the room, but right now ain't much to say after that. So it's like it was like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was weird, but
So she was, when Miami was around, was she very talkative? You said
very,
maybe not why he was penning love letters to Cassie and Kim Porter. The Kim Porter
very.
stuff.
I would often um I would often play like music chairs with them. So if I'm sitting here and they come close to me, I just automatically move this way. And they come that way, I move this way. I just like move around. You know what I'm saying? Or any of his women, I just move around. Move around. I don't, you know what I mean? And a couple of times they would like speak to me or, you know what I mean, certain things. And I just like try to avoid even that because, you can just know and I can just feel like the type of person that he is. It's like, on my, I may not look like nothing now, but on my best day, I think I'm a very attractive man, and
And
I
on your
just
worst. And on your worst.
appreciate it, but I just wouldn't, like to be in that situation where I feel like, or he may have felt like his women may have taken any attraction or liking to me, and so I would just always just play the music chairs, say bare minimum, and most times I feel like they might have felt like I was mean. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
But the reality is, I'm just making sure that there's respect. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In these rooms, as I do to most of my clients. Just you know what I mean. I'm not here to make anybody jealous or take anybody's significant other, but to
Mm-hmm.
make business and business friendships, etc. So
Yeah.
that was
I
my
mean,
experience.
You were raised right. Like even me, if my friends are not standing next to their significant others, I really don't know what they look like. I can walk by them on the street and be like, I've never stared you dead in your face because it's none of my business. You know, it's none of my business. So Miami was talkative, from what you remember, very talkative in the studio. Maybe not with you, but she was talkative and whatnot. Do you remember Miami being around like Daphne and other people? Like, were there always a bunch of women around, or were they more like?
Yeah. So the first time I seen them together, or at least that I knew that. Again, it could have been around. I just didn't know who they were. I knew who Young Miami is, but Daphne and anybody else. But the first time I seen them was on Thanksgiving of 2022. So they were all at his house for Thanksgiving. So he sat. The table was like a U. So he sat right in the middle. Then he had his mom on one side, and then you had the twins, and then you had you had Daphne, and then you had right across was Young Miami and Sarah, whatever people that were close to him in whatever capacity were all sitting at that table.
Were they all cool together? Did you get the impression that everybody was good to get along for the go along?
I got the impression that they all knew their role, and whether they liked it or not, this is their role, and they're going to, for whatever their reasons are, they're not trying to mess up their role, or causing any conflict. Sarah, I've ran into her. She seemed like a very, very respectable, nice person, as well as Daphne. It's just I saw a mother who was very excited about her firstborn, and just raising her. You know what I'm saying? I saw good in those two people. So, and then he had his young thing who's an artist who's hot out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And my opinion, that's what's keeping him relevant.
Miami, I agree with you. You felt like Miami was keeping him relevant, breathing life into his career.
Earlier I said he's an amazing marketer. He always been and still are. So he has his reasons. I don't know everything, but for sure, in my opinion, I just feel like it was a great marketing thing for him to stay current and relevant. You know what I'm saying? So
I remember that there was
a bit. We got to think about that. He's in his 50s. You know what I'm saying?
What that mean?
I'm just saying. If he was, if I'm in his mind and I'm thinking how he's thinking, he can't be in his 50s trying to stay current with the young people and married to somebody who's in his 50s. You know what I'm saying? He gonna change it up a little bit, market it up, change his name to Love. You know what I'm saying? Get Love Records, have a kid. You know what I mean? And get a young girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that, you know what I mean? That are in place. I didn't put them in place, but again, this is my opinion. So,
got you. We all know this is, you guys, just to let you know, this is his opinions, his observation. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, recollections may vary, but we are actually asking Lil Rod what his impressions of things were. Really quick, because I'm literally just very, very curious about this. So I remember earlier you said that to you, it seemed like Diddy and Young Miami's relationship was very, very good marketing. Okay. Did you see chemistry? Did you see that freeness? Did you see that easiness that they broadcasted to the world when they were in the studio?
Rephrase that question for me again.
So with Young Miami, right? I remember earlier you said that you thought that their relationship looked very much like a very astute marketing strategy, which isn't to say it wasn't real, but you said that they didn't seem as easy with each other as they appeared in the public. So in the public, you know, they was grooving together, laughing, joking. It was all like, you could see this chemistry and it was all smiles. When the cameras weren't on, did they have that freeness, that easiness, that joy that they exuded?
So I've never seen anything toxic, for the record. I'm not saying that it was toxic, but
not toxic, but go on.
I can also say that there was a moment or two where he may have said something out of his mouth, and whereas any other woman not in her situation prior to be like, nah, boy, I ain't such, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And, you know, you'll just see her turn her face and just act as if he didn't say it. You know what I'm saying? And, and it was just weird to me. Like, you know, then I'm told, like, yo, you know, somebody said that she was getting, you know, 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? On a monthly basis. It's like, yeah, you would probably be quiet too.
I mean, when people are yelling at people to go clean up on aisle 4, you know, people have been quiet for $20 an hour, let alone 100,000. Do you? I mean,
I think that was a good look for the both of them at the time when they was doing what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a good look. I think, you know, it was a lift for her. She was dating a mogul in the music business who status is a billionaire, and he's, you know, in his 50s trying to stay current. You know what I'm saying? It was a good look for them, both of them. So I think the market strategy that they've come up with was amazing. And for me, my opinion, I don't think that it was real true love, because if it's true love, you know what I mean, what's their status now? You know what I mean? What's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of what he's hit with, you know, if it's true love, nobody should be able to shut you up, or, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is. And so I'm not really, you know, following her around or him, etc. So I don't really know everything, but it just seems to me like, you know, their relationship has taken a back seat. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and maybe it's too much for me to speak on, you know, especially because I don't know. But I just didn't feel true love. I didn't feel, you know, somebody's worried about their king, or the king is worried about their queen. You know what I'm saying? I didn't feel that. For me, I just feel like, yo, they just got a money play going on for marketing, and they're having a good time. You know what I'm saying? That's my opinion. And you know, I rest there. And let me get off this question for you.
Listen, we can back off. Again, this is Lil Rod's opinion. He is not presenting this as fact. He's just saying back then what his impressions were. Okay. Yeah. Young Miami has said that Diddy was the love of her life. She said that he let her rest in her feminine. Diddy, you know, loved his shorty wop. Yeah, it was all good between them. So again, this is just somebody's impression. It's just someone's impression. Let me ask you a question, because, you know, just to let you guys know, if you're joining, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. I am trying to grow. The chat has been restricted to members only. I'll open it up in a little bit to subscribers. We're just trying to get, you know, there's a lot of bots whenever you put Diddy's name in. Let's actually, and also Lil Rod is joining us from an undisclosed situation and place, which leads me to my next part, the aftermath, right? And we'll go back to like what happened in the house when it's relevant, but let's move to the aftermath of the lawsuit. I do have to ask you one question. How did you stumble into Diddy's security room? Because I heard through the raids that they went in and they took servers. And I gotta be honest with you, Rod, I always believed you. But when Cassie came out with her lawsuit, there were a lot of people that wanted to believe Diddy for whatever reason. I don't know. You know, if you watch my channel, I'm always talking about bootlickers. And I find that the more money people have, the more they lick boots. A poor person will be like, I've been broke. I'll go back to being broke. I'd rather have my dignity at night, right? I'm not licking your boots. But, you know, with Diddy, let me just set this up really quick, right? With Diddy, there were a lot of people around him and doing this and doing that. The feds caught wind of something. And with Cassie, people were like, oh, I don't think she's lying. We can't believe. I don't believe he would do that. And then she was vindicated when that video came out that happened exactly the way she said it did. Much like when your lawsuit came out, I believed you 100%. A lot of people did. But the people that wanted to besmirch your name said, this is sensational. It can never happen. This is Diddy we're talking about. You know, he good for a party and dancing and being Father of the Year, but he would never. Until the feds raided his home. And then he would never turned into like, oh my God, what is going on? There were reports that there is like underground grottos and this and that. But I do know that it was confirmed that the feds actually raided, took servers, took this, took that, right? Two questions, okay? One, in your lawsuit, you did say that he had like security up the wazoo. You ain't never seen security like that. How did you come to stumble upon what his security setup was?
Yeah. All right. So now you just said a lot, right?
Okay.
Can you believe that all of those things you just said, there are still a lot of people who around here acting and treating this as if he's guilty. I mean, innocent. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah, all that. A lot of people still think, oh yeah, he's. You know what I'm saying? Or still team him after all of those things you just said. You know what I'm saying? The cat situation, what happened, and bam, the video drops, and you know, even the videos that I'm getting ready to comment on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, can you believe that there's still people out here who's just like scared for him, and and rooting for him and feeling like he's innocent? It's crazy. But I stumbled upon this. Remember, I told you he tells from time to time, he tells the chef, don't cook for nobody. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
By the way, I've met all his chefs, and most of them are ready and willing to cook, right? The crazy part is only one chef that I ran into, I felt like, was a little mean, right? But then here goes another state. I ran into one. I felt like she was a little mean too, but only to realize, no, they know. Don't even get involved with cooking for them. Versus the other ones, they'll tote the line and cook. You know what I'm saying? Them other ones, like, I ain't messing up my job. Now, based on that, I have to eat. And so I got into a system where I would start Uber eating my ordering from Uber Eats my food, whether it's myself, my assistant at the time, or my manager. Like, yo, keep that food running to me at least 3-4 times a day. I'm in here working. I do not want to worry about food, because by the time I realize I haven't eaten, it's too late. I'm on the fork. Like, people don't even understand. Like, there's been times I was in the bathroom late, grasping for air, just like about to faint. You know what I'm saying? Because when I don't eat, I just have all these type of problems, right? So I'm ordering these foods, and they're coming and they're coming. What happens is the security start getting tired of bringing me the bags of food. And so they start calling me to come to the office. After a while, they just start relaxing. It's like, your food is in the office. Go grab it. Right? Rightfully, that's not a bad thing to do, because once you're on a team, you should actually be able to trust people in a team. That only works when the person that you're working for is not, the person that you're working for is a how do I want to say, I want to choose my words. The person that you're working for has some type of integrity. Let's just say that
Okay.
integrity. You know what I'm saying? Great people. Like I see it all the time. But this person here that we're talking about, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, is out to just use a person until he's got everything and then he's gone. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so when it's like that, then you need to keep everything super tight. It's hard to really trust anybody because at some moment you should know, he's going to piss them off in some way, and just to make sure it don't backfire. And in my opinion, a lot of things are backfiring because he's a very, very arrogant person. You know what I'm saying? Outside of being arrogant, I said it and I mean it. In my opinion, he's a monster. You know what I'm saying? Nothing that he does is like considerate of anybody else but himself. Everything is about getting the glory for himself. And then you got people out here who's worshiping that and worshiping his money. Like, yo, stop it. You're never gonna get none of. I know you're at home, like living through him, but let's be real. You know what I'm saying? He's gotten millions and to billionaire status off of stealing. You know what I'm saying? People's works, their rights, their talent, their publishing, their respect, their whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's my opinion.
Mm-hmm. When you say that people admire him so much, do you think it's just for that they admire the money, or do you think it's something deeper that these people have this slavish devotion to him?
Some of it's the money. Some of it is he's just very, very good at finding ways to manipulate people's minds. You know what I'm saying? And then based
Mm-hmm.
off of that, he just know how to build loyal people to him. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Or he know how to go find loyal people and bring them on a team. So
Mm-hmm.
he requires that loyalty, but it's not reciprocated.
Okay, that's a good one. We're going to get into that. But just to go back to, we're back in that security room. You see what's going on. When you tape Diddy, were you required to did the video go into like secret vaults or something like that? Did you have to like airdrop stuff? Or did he just tell everybody, just keep it with you? I'm
Well,
just
just
curious about the logistics.
depending on what it is. If it came from my phone, depending on what it is, I would just find one of the camera guys and drop it to him. Like, here, put this, or take this, or if his phone is around, I pick it up, put the passcode in there, and drop it to his phone and keep rolling.
You had
You
the
know what I'm saying?
passcode to his phone?
Oh yeah.
Oh. Oh, that puts your complaint in a whole different light. That
Yeah,
puts your
because you
complaint.
gotta understand, I'm not the type that's gonna go through his text messages, reading his stuff, or try to go through his emails, or go through photos trying to find. Like, I'm not interested in that. I think a lot of people that work with me knows that. I was um I was I came up under a production company like 2013. I was probably in production in the deal probably to 2016, I think. And this producer, I had the passcode to his computer, for example, that was left at the studio 24/7, and I had keys to it, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
passcode could very much be the same right now, right? Not once did I ever go into the email to see what he's got in his email or still rip some files. Like, for me, I feel like a cat looks like a cat. You know what I'm saying? A dog looks like a dog or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And I feel like whatever you indulge in, you kind of walk around on this earth looking like that. You know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
for that reason, I try to make sure that I'm no one's perfect, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But at least
Mm-hmm.
I try, as a man striving for perfection, I try to make sure that all right, yo, just do this way, just do this way. Yeah, that's over there, but ignore it. It's not for you to see. They gave you this passcode for this particular reason.
Yeah.
For that and that only. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people know that, or they can feel that, and so as a result, sometimes, the trust is there. You know what I mean? And so he felt that, management felt that, the assistants felt that, and security felt that.
No, definitely. I mean, I feel you on the trust. I grew up with a nosy mom, not in a malicious way, but you would walk into the kitchen, she'd be in your book bag, read a note you wrote your friends, and be like, oh, so what's going on? Like, my mom was always in our business, but in a very loving.
And watch this. I got a 15-year-old daughter, and I have the right to go through her cell phone that I paid for. Yeah, I get that phone sometimes. I'll be scared to go through it. Like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, it's like,
I'm scared. Once you have your privacy invaded, even by a loved one, after that, you are very respectful to other people's boundaries. Like, I don't need to know. Just
but the reality is, I should know. But it's like, man, I'm just scared to go through it. My daughter's phone and this pops up, or
ain't nothing in there. My parents went through my whole life.
Her mom talking about she need, the women's stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
don't do my phone. Ain't nothing in there. My parents went through my phone. They was probably bored. Like, that's all they doing. I do. So you know what? Well, let's get into this really quick, and then I want to get back into the parties, because we see what the working environment is. We need to talk about those parties, but I also want to talk about the fact that you are basically in hiding. You did an amazing interview with the Rolling Stones. We have a few questions about that, but you are basically in hiding because you had to move states. You had to cut ties with friends. You had to do what you needed to do to protect yourself. And even with all that moving, I know you were a little shocked to heard it through the grapevine that you are also, congratulations, a new father for the second time. How is that moving state to state and being in hiding when you have like a new life that you need to, a second daughter, as a matter of fact, that you need to actually be there for, and you want to be there for,
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone because it's a touchy situation again. You know what I mean? I definitely have moved states and places multiple times just to. You got to understand, there was a private investigator that was hired. This private investigator reached out to so many people around me that know me. It was crazy. It's like, yo, what the heck? And then on the phone with my daughter. Stop. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, they've people who know. Some of the people I know that also know Puff as well has start calling people like, yo, is he over there? And then start popping up to their house and stuff like that, and just the security. I had to just like, I got to move about life totally different, totally different now. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't taken a phone call, for example, at home in so long. I won't even answer my phone, and especially Android people. It's like, don't even text me, don't call me. You know what I'm saying? That's the easiest way. Because someone told me that, I don't say any name, but one of his kids' mom either used to or still does work for some type of tech company or cyber this or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, yo, too many times my phone start doing crazy things, my computers. Certain things are there, then they disappeared, and then, you know what I'm saying? So much is going. So I don't even take phone calls at my house. I don't text much. People would be texting me and like, yo, why you don't answer my phone? They thinking I just changed on them, like I'm out to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to survive. You know what I'm saying? And that's just that. And people don't understand that all they could think about is their own needs or how entitled they are to be in reach and in contact with me. Like, look, I'm fighting for my fucking life. Excuse my French. You know what I'm saying? And for me, in order to keep everybody else protected too, is I just stay away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My parents don't know where I'm at. You know, I see them sometimes, but you know, my kids I haven't seen. You know what I'm saying? And that's just that.
Wow.
Yeah. And so,
I mean,
you know, the fact that we're even talking about this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'm gonna just leave it alone. I'm getting ready to go to something else. It's like, yo, this is what it's come to. You know what I mean? This is what it's come to, and this is what tells me. This is what makes me feel like, yo, he's a monster.
yeah. I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
it's wild to me to hear that. And it makes sense now. You had literally passcodes, right? Diddy keeps people that will be reliable and dependable. Again, a lot of people like that keep good people around them because everybody in the group can't be a monster, right? Everybody can't be a vampire. We need some people with fresh blood in there, right? So it's crazy to me that you had access to all this stuff. And now, even when it comes to safety, it makes sense why safety would be an issue. But it also is crazy to me that you basically have a newborn and you to protect your kid the way a father should, it's actually safer for you to be away from your baby than actually be there, really pouring into her and bonding. What that's a big sacrifice. And that's crazy that you're right. Something so simple has turned out this way. Like my heart goes all to you and your family and your parents and everybody that's actually dealing with this, because like you said, it's hot potato and everything you touch, they're going to try to hit you every which way. I do remember on Twitter and on TikTok where it was a whole big deal where that private investigator, we don't know if it's the same one, but a lot of content creators were saying that private investigators that work on behalf of Diddy were reaching out to them, trying to scare them away from reporting on TikTok about what was going on. Because, you know, TikTok, something can go viral and 50, 100 million people see it. Reporting what was going on.
I've gotten threats too, directly and indirectly. So it's like, yo, you know what I mean? This is just where we at, and it's sad. So, and I'm told that there were others. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dang, this is what people has been dealing with all along. I now understand. You know what I'm saying?
Rodney Jones, y'all may have known him as or know him as Lil Rod. He was a child prodigy. He is a gifted musician that came up through the church. He has produced hits for so many big name people, big name acts. One of the biggest names he had the displeasure of working with was Diddy. We have Lil Rod live on this channel in his own words, in his own truth, to break it down for us. Title tells y'all told me to get my ear to the street. Y'all don't want any more 20-year-old tea. You want something new, piping hot. So you know your girl went out there and got it. Now, before we get into this, we do have to make a disclaimer, okay? And this is a very important disclaimer. I want everybody to actually pay attention, all right? Lil Rod is going to be giving us his recollection, okay? We must point out that everything in life, until it's proven in a court of law, actually, everything is somebody's opinion. He is going to be telling us his thoughts. He's going to be telling us what he remembers. He's also going to be telling us how he felt, okay? Now, he is taking his accusations to a court of law so that the United States government can decide who is right and who is wrong. It is important to note that Sean Diddy Combs has 100% said that he is innocent of all charges, not just Lil Rod, but the multiple women that are suing him right now. Much like he said in his lawsuit, with Cassie Ventura, it is all lies. He will be vindicated. He will defend the Combs name, and he will make everybody pay for spreading this misinformation. Y'all remember when he said that about Cassie? I mean, unfortunately, after that, a lot of things that Cassie said were proven to be true with a video compilation. But keep in mind that Sean Diddy Combs has maintained his innocence. Nothing has been proven in a court of law. And Lil Rod is bringing us his memory, his recollection, his feeling, and his viewpoint of what went down and how it went down. Now that we got that out the way, let's get to what the streets are saying, but let's get to what Lil Rod is also saying. And we will bring out the special guests in a little time. But when we make these connections with the special guests, I'm telling you, you're going to be happy. All right, y'all, let's get into this. Yeah, and speaking of others, we do have Natania Rueben, the dopest nerd, joining us. She actually wanted to get a message to you. I thought this would be the perfect time to unite you guys. We're going to bring her up in a little bit. I just want to talk about the parties. But I thought because she actually has a beautiful testimony to you about the way your lawsuit helped her connect the pieces. If you guys don't know who Natania Rueben is, when Diddy and J-Lo I guess he got arrested. J-Lo got stopped by the Popo, and he was literally, going crazy in the club. Natania Rueben, unfortunately, was hit in the face and suffered a life-altering tragedy. And even the fallout from people that were loyal to Diddy, whether at Diddy's asking or whether because they were just trying to get a penny, it parallels what you're going through so much. I thought it would be a great idea for you guys to actually talk and put together the dots. So we're going to bring her up in just a few moments, but I want to just touch on the fact of you actually feel like you've been threatened or it's just not safe for you. I know that you talked about, and again, some people might be like, oh my God, what's the big deal? But I do remember in your lawsuit, you made a mention to a gentleman named G and how you witnessed somebody be banged a few feet away from you in a bathroom. And 3 people were in the bathroom and only 2 people came out. And one was Justin and one was Diddy. And what you saw with Diddy, how many times do you think you saw things that made you be like, yo, I'm actually not safe. This is not cool. Like, what have I gotten myself into? It might be a little bit too far to turn back around.
Sadly, in order to be successful in this industry, you have to have some bit of fuck it in you. And you got to be of some type of numb, because every major camp, their stories. You know what I'm saying? There's stories from the NWA, the Dre's camp. There's stories from Puffy's camp. There's you know what I'm saying? Like, we could just go on. We in urban music, and any major successful person, there's this type of things. Now, the sad part is, for someone who's been in the music business so long, this should not be like a topic of a conversation. So, you know what I'm saying? We got the situation where she was hit in the face. Okay, that's at a club. Okay, Pac was shot at one of the studios. You know what I'm saying? And here again, 2022. You know what I'm saying? During the writing camp of the Love album Off the Grid, another person is being shot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And sadly, as a music producer, this is what you're subject to being around. Now, for me, when it's my studio sessions that I'm hosting or doing anything, I take a bunch of extra precautions to make sure certain things like this is not happening. And you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And sadly, he's the type of person. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say anything further. Okay. It's a sad thing. Like, let's just go down all the events that we've already discussed. We've been talking about Kim Porter. We've been talking about Cassie. You know what I'm saying? Our special guest is coming on right now that I'm getting ready to meet for the first time. We've talked about Pac. I'm even told that, you know, some are saying that he could possibly be the reason, you know, Biggie's.
Yeah,
You
we
know what I'm
write
saying?
about that too.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so much, and you know, for me, and we've also discussed that an agent called my daughter. You know what I'm saying? People's following me around. People is my phone is going. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple of times I looked outside, saw a car parked out there for a long time. I said it was trying to go. You know what I'm saying? I had to move
Yeah.
location again. Like, yo, you feel me? And as Shadow was like, yo, what are we talking about right now? It's 2024. This
Yeah.
man can't be still, you know, causing all his problems and walking this earth, going to the beach thinking it's sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
Hmm.
what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
What
saying?
are we talking?
Yeah. And so I took it upon myself to try to come out for fresh air a couple of weeks ago, and I went to the human what is it called? Human and Harmony Fest.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And I did that. Of course, I was a little scared, a little nervous, but I also did that. It's like, yo, you've got to